Okay, hi everybody. It's Casey Shover and Kristen Hamill, and we're gonna talk with everybody about some things that we wanted to talk about with you. And it's kind of basically that whole concept of the power of the mind and how it affects every piece of your life and not only your business. Kristen, do you want to kind of start talking about what you had written, kind of about that quote and everything?
Yes, thanks. Hey girls, I just want to start out with a quote that I really like. It's by the famous Buddha. I love Buddha. Um, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. And for me, that is so true. What we see around us, what we hear around us, what we believe from others, it affects us on a daily basis. It affects our family life, it affects our friendships, it affects relationships, and it affects our business. And, other people's beliefs kind of impact us as well. If you notice, if you're around people that aren't so happy, it kind of rubs off onto you, and our subconscious has a way of taking power over our conscious and just really makes those perceptions a reality. So for me, it's something I struggle with day to day. And so I got thinking, who are the happiest people out there if you think age-wise? And it's young children. And why is that? Well, because they're so involved in, painting and pretending to play and discovering things that they haven't really worried yet what other people think of them. And they're just living in the moment. They're happy, and they're such an excellent guide and example to go by. If we could all just be toddlers again, we would be all set.
Yeah.
And so I think the most important thing, if you get down to basics, as far as us, we're all women, is our self-care and how important that is in how we think. We tend to be nurturers, and we take care of everyone. We provide for them first, whether we have children or husbands and boyfriends, even our, four-legged fur babies. They take up a lot of our time and care. We always, spend our time and energy and on them first before ourselves. And doing this leads to physical and mental exhaustion, which, starts bringing on self-doubt and low sense of self-worth and all those negative thoughts that get into your head. So it's a lot easier to say than to do, but we really need to love ourselves first and take care of ourselves first. Because if we don't tend to ourselves first, we're not going to be good for anything else or anybody else around us. And that includes our business. Um, so, what can we do to get rid of these negative thoughts? Positive distractions, I think, are the best way to kill negativity. Find something that you do that you love. For me personally, it's listening to music. When I get those thoughts in my head and I overanalyze everything, I have 200 voices going on in my head saying, Kristen, you're no good at that. Kristen, you suck at that. The minute I hear something like that, I just turn on. I'm a big Maroon 5 fan. I turn on Adam Levine, and he sings to me, and everything's, rainbows and butterflies. So it doesn't have to be whatever you like to do, any hobby, yoga. It could be simply reading a book, personal development, or taking a bath. Just removing yourself from all that negative thoughts and whatever's going on in your head. Um, Something that you can do in the moment and something that you have access to right then and there. So if you're away from home, finding something at work that can take you away from those thoughts. And another way, and I'm big on this, and I know Casey is positive affirmations. Finding some type of a quote that empowers and uplifts you, and just post it everywhere. It can be on a mirror, in your car, on your computer screen, next to your daily tasks or your to-do list, and just something that is going to really uplift you and take you to that happy place. I have one that my favorite is I am in charge of how I feel, and today I am choosing happiness. And I recite that a lot. It's just something that has meaning to me, and it helps me with those negative feelings. And with those thoughts, negative thoughts, there's a lot, that are involved in our business that we deal with day to day. And believe it or not, I'm sure we all have those same negative thoughts. I know we're probably thinking we're the only ones that think that, but we all go through it. And there's different ways that you can perceive them and how to reason with them. And I think Casey wanted to touch upon that.
Yeah, well, I kind of want to pedal back a little bit to kind of add to some of the things that Kristen was saying and about self-care and how important that is. She said it all, but I just want to emphasize, learning how to set those boundaries as well in your life in general, in every area of your life. I know before I started Younique, I had to learn how to set boundaries with my full-time job because it's an emotionally draining job in itself, and so I had to learn how to shut off my work mind to my home mind, and now I had to figure out how to shut off my Younique mind for my work mind and then my regular life mind. And so I think it's important to give yourself some respite from time to time, and I don't know that I've ever taken a full day off of Younique ever, but allowing yourself certain time, like every once in a while, like having a day where you just do what you can just to get through it so there's no burnout, but also like learning how to set limits throughout your day. So this is what I'm going to spend my time on today with Younique and accomplish something so that you can also, just to prevent that burnout, especially when you have like a family to take care of or another job or a family and a job, but also want to succeed in the business. And so making sure that's why self-care is so important, so that you can, care, I don't know, because you're just going to be depleted and you're not going to be able to put anything out if you're just empty. And then that also creates those negative thoughts. So we wanted to talk, we talked about those positive affirmations and how important they are. And also it's important with those positive affirmations to kind of work on changing your mindset when you find negativity kind of overflowing your thoughts. And I know that this is something that I went and worked on before Younique. I, like Kristen said, just I have a voice in my head that's really, really hard on myself. And so learning how to control those thoughts so that it doesn't consume my mind, and really spending time talking yourself through it. So like if you're insecure about something, you can sit in front of the mirror and say, no, you are beautiful, you are strong, blah, blah, blah. But so changing those thoughts, and that takes practice. That's not going to happen overnight, just like it isn't going to happen overnight with your business, but you need to constantly be practicing it. And sorry, people. We kind of came up with some common things that either we have thought, sorry, you guys, either that we have thought or that we have heard people say that are pretty common, that we can maybe change, that are like change what you're thinking to make it positive. Does that make sense? So I want to list some of that, and Kristen and I can kind of go over like different ways you can talk about it to make it more positive. Okay. Sorry, you guys, the dogs are playing, so it's going to get a little crazy. So one of the things that I hear sometimes, especially in the beginning when people are, just had like a really awesome launch party and they're having their first party, and within the first couple of days they're not getting any sales. And so you're thinking, oh my gosh, nobody's going to order for my party, or nobody is ordering for my party. This party's a bomb. This is a big waste of my time. that sort of thing. Like, that's kind of a negative way to think about it, and that can be spun. Like, Kristen, do you have like an example of what you could think of differently for that? Not to put you on the spot, or anybody.
That's okay. Yeah, I get a lot of, nobody's seeing my posts in the party, so they're not ordering. Why should I go on or something? And it's just, it's so important to not think that way. And I know it's so easy to do. But the minute I hear the word not or I can't, like I try to train myself to twist that around to I can and not take no for an answer. And so, so say it was my own personal party and I wasn't getting a lot of views or participation, there aren't any sales, I would be like asking myself, what can I do? What kind of creative idea can I bring to the table to get people talking or to get people interested? What kind of contacts can I make? Can I private message them and see if they need any help color matching? I mean, that's not being salesy, asking for color recommendations, seeing if, asking what kind of products they use on their face, what their daily skincare routine is. So there's different ways to, kind of go about finding answers or getting solutions rather than just stopping at, well, nobody's ordering for my party.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, think about it, even if there's just one order. So, like, being persistent for even just that one order, that one person could join your team, that one person could start a party that gets you 20 orders. I mean, that one person can get you the kind of contacts that you wouldn't have gotten or received or whatever, however you say that, if you hadn't posted that party. Or you are just getting your name out there and they're getting the information. I mean, people need to see things, I don't even remember how many times, is it 7 times, before they actually start really listening or remembering it, or if...
Yeah, it's something like that, 7 or 8.
And so, what?
I was going to say 21 times by the time they actually order it, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's crazy. And so that's why you want to keep putting yourself out there and posting, not just in your VIP group, but more importantly on your Facebook wall, engaging people. And I don't know, I could go on and on, but trying to twist that, and sometimes sometimes you don't have sales, and it happens to everybody, even our Black status leaders. So, like, you just move on to the next and get, So, another one is my leaders aren't helping me. And so if you're thinking that your sponsor is the reason why you're not successful, think about it as, like, so if you ever have that mindset, or you've had a sponsor that maybe isn't kind of doing what you think that they should be doing, think about it if they have sponsored anybody else, and how is that person doing? And is that person successful? Well, yeah, they're doing this, this, and this. Well, then it's obviously not the sponsor. It's all going to come down, and you just got to remember that this business is yours and nobody else's. And as leaders, we're all trying our best to be there for you, but not all of us have joined and sponsored people and have decided to stick with it or do anything or have like-minded goals. So just, remember that it's bigger than your leaders. It's what's inside of you and what you are willing to do. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Kristen.
Yeah, you've said it. It all comes down to you, and it's really, I think success comes down to, there's a formula. It's your mindset plus your skill set plus action equals success. And we all have the same skill set. We duplicate our upline and our leaders. So it's not that we're given anything differently than anybody else. We all get the same information, the same materials. But it's that mindset piece that we can be different, because it's all how we perceive things and what we think positively about and what we think negatively about. And without that mindset piece, you can't put those skills into action to get success.
Right.
So that has a lot to do with it.
Yes, it's so huge. The power of the mind is so much bigger. I'm just going to go on a little rant. The mind is so much more powerful than we ever give it credit for. I mean, there are people that are like physically healed because of the mindset that they had. Our brains affect our physical health. And and I truly believe pushing out positive energy into the universe to get success, believing that it will happen and it will. If you believe it won't, I mean, it's just not going to come to you. And it's not. And people aren't going to want to be around it. It's going to be difficult for your leaders to lead you. It's going to be difficult for people to want to purchase from you if you're bleeding negativity, even in your normal, not normal, but non-business life, non-unique life. I mean, it's everything. Well, the product is on back order, so that's something we're all dealing with right now, and I think all of us have felt some form of frustration with this. It's scary when, my heart beats a little bit faster when Organza is the touch liquid that works. For a second, because it's oh, I really want them to have this, and how are they going to react when I tell them it's on back order? But if you can spin it, and you have to believe it in your mind that this, this is a good thing. This means that our products are that popular. I just got a message from somebody today asking to color match, and she didn't remember what foundation it was, and she's like, it's the one that everybody's making videos about. And I'm like, that's a big deal. A product that everybody has their eyes on, everybody wants because it's untouchable, basically, because it's on back order. This is a big deal. I don't know. And so remembering that and then trying to help them figure out what they can do in the meantime. So Emily had that post in Slayers, I think it was Slayers, where she gave us an example of what she said to somebody. I mean, we had the touch press powder and the press cream, gosh, forever, and that's what I sold before, and I loved that stuff, and I still do, but obviously not as much as the liquid, but you can still sell that, and that still is sufficient until they can order, and the powder is awesome coupled with the liquid, so you can say, especially if they get a collection, well, is it the Organza that's on back order, so you can still order, or I don't know, whichever one they can order ahead of time and then get it on their wait list, they can get the powder in the meantime, because that's still pretty good coverage. So just think about different creative ways to kind of help make your customer happy and be excited about how popular your product is. That's going to really say something about you and your business. So, just try to be creative in the way that you think about things that might bum you out. Unique isn't perfect. There's going to be flaws. Things are going to happen that we wish didn't. It's a business, and it's still a new business, so we're all growing with it. And so we all need to be patient and work together and support each other and encourage each other to get through these things, because we're in a really good time to be a part of this. So, just be proud of where you're at. Just jump in if you have anything to say. Another thing too, I get a lot of people aren't responding to my messages. I'm doing all these cold contacts, messaging, outreaching for recruiting. I'm messaging for parties. I'm messaging for sales, and people aren't responding. That discouraged me a lot in the beginning as well. But also we have to remember that that's why posting on your Facebook wall, I'm going to say this forever and ever, but is so important, because they're not, first of all, people forget to respond to you. I mean, legit. It happens all the time. And I'll actually have people tell me a couple of months later, because I kind of keep messaging them, pretend I didn't message them to begin with and just keep messaging them, especially if they were a customer before. Obviously not every day, but every couple of months, just to check in, make sure they know I'm here. But then also, if I'm posting on my Facebook wall, something not salesy and attractive and engaging and whatever, people are going to remember me as that unique girl, and if she wants more mascara, she's going to come to me. people, you know, it's that anonymous, I always say that word weird, engagement, where people are watching, but they're not necessarily letting you know. It's the same idea, I think, for the messages. And so, like, people will come around, and you're getting yourself out there. If you don't ask, you're going to get nothing in return. If you do, you have, you know, 100 no's is worth one yes. And we all know that feeling when somebody's like, okay, tell me more. And you're like, oh my God, finally somebody. And it's just so exciting to have that happen. So you just have to remember that, sorry, we're going to be rejected. And it's part of it, you know. And Kristen, you were reading that book, or you did read that book, Go for No or whatever, and you've talked about that.
Yes, Go for No by Richard Fenton and Andrea Waltz. And it talks about how, you know, your goal is to get as many no's as you can. So it's shifting your views, because normally you're afraid of hearing the word no. So they train your mind to be okay with the word no and to expect it. And you actually, you know, it's kind of like a competition, like how many no's can you get? And then because in those no's you're going to get a yes, and then you're going to be surprised by it and, you know, excited about it. Then you're going to keep going for more no's, and then you're going to get another yes, and then you just forget that no's a bad thing. You know, it kind of becomes a no big deal thing. So I think that's really important, because I mean, I'm one that's totally afraid of rejection. So, you know, in the beginning I really felt hurt whenever I got a no. And then after reading that, it just totally changed my perception on it. And now, you know, it's really no big deal. If, you know, if they say no, it's okay. At least I don't feel bad not offering them the opportunity, because right now I'm at the point where I love it so much and I'm passionate about it so much that if there's one person I forget to offer the opportunity, like, I feel extremely guilty. I'm like, oh my goodness, I gotta go, you know, message this person. Right. And, you know, it becomes a whole way of different thinking. So I highly recommend that book.
And I want to bounce off of what you just said about how, like, feeling guilty about not offering the opportunity. If you put your mind in thinking about how when you're offering the opportunity, you're truly offering them an opportunity, not trying to recruit. I mean, I know we say recruit, but and it sounds like such a selfish way of saying it, to be honest with you. But if you look at it and think of it as, I'm offering this woman or this girl, like, this amazing opportunity, and if she doesn't know about it, then she's missing out on something big. Then it's easier, I think, to reach out, because you're looking at it from that perspective. And I do believe, like, once I change my thinking and I'm reaching out to people, that the responses are, like, so much better. And sometimes it's even if the words are exactly the same, it's where my heart is. And I don't know, it's just like pushing out that positive, like, energy into the world. Like, if my heart is in the right place, I have much better success with my business.
And I think that comes down to our why, too. I mean, I know we had that assignment for our goals and to say what our why is. And I think, you know, for most of my personally enrolled, I know what your why is. But, you know, there's a lot of others that we still don't know each other's whys. And I think that would truly help us help everyone if we knew what your why was.
Yeah, so 2 tasks from this whatever this is, broadcast is find yourself, like, a mantra that you're going to post everywhere. And then let us know, if you haven't told us your why, let us know. I'm sorry, it's getting loud here. Let us know what that is so we can help you. We're not going to follow up on your mantra. You do it if you feel like you want to, but it might be helpful. Another thing we talked about is, like, comparing ourselves to other people in the business, and how jealousy can just creep up on you, and how you can also, like, make excuses for your own success or not success, I guess, and living based on that rather than how can you improve. You know, when our leaders, Kristen and I were talking about this when we were kind of talking about what we were going to talk about, like, being excited for our leaders, because they are duplicating all of what they're doing down to us. Oh my gosh. And so we know, I'm sorry for a second. So we know that that's going to be something that we can accomplish too. And even the people beside us and the people below us, like it's important, I don't know, for us to be happy for them and to learn from the people that are successful. And we all have different strengths and different weaknesses that we can bring to every situation that the other person doesn't. So we need to build on our strengths and work on our weaknesses. And I think, that's part of being happy for the other people in the business and what they're doing and learning from them. And just looking at it that way rather than, oh, well, she stays at home and she doesn't work full time. Or, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm sorry, I'm going to leave the room. But, those are different thoughts, or that this person has all this money, so she's probably buying her stock or buying her, just those sort of things, like just remembering to look at it differently. I'm sorry, I have crazy dogs, so I'm trying to hide from them. So I got a little distracted.
Yeah, isn't there that saying, like, we all have the same 24 hours as Beyonce or something? Like, she's killing it, so.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I stay at home, and I know some people probably think, well, she stays at home all the time, so she has more time to work on her business. And in reality, I have a 3-year-old. He's high priority. Whenever he sees me doing something, it's look at me. That's when he acts up and everything. And so I feel like I get most of my work done at nighttime, when after the kids are in bed, when I'm not carting them around to their activities and their sports and all that stuff. So it's what you make of it. It doesn't matter whether you're at home. It doesn't matter if you work full-time somewhere else. I mean, we all do things day to day that we have to do. We all sleep. We all eat. We all shower. So, finding a half hour to an hour to, 2 hours a day for your business, it is accomplishable, if that's even a word. But we can all do it. It's just what your mind is telling you. If your mind is telling you you can't do it, then you're right. You're not going to be able to do it.
Right. I think we kind of, touched on everything. But yeah, I mean, I think we were going to end with that saying, like, if you believe you can, what was it? If you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. Like, that's so cliche, but it's so 100% true. And you just have to remember that all the time. So, now that we're done, does anybody have anything they want to ask or add? Or
yeah, turn your mics on.
Megan, Amy, anyone want to say anything? Emily, you got words?
Anybody? Are they still here?
I don't know.
Yes, I'm still here.
Oh, I love your
Hi,
voice.
Amy.
You guys are doing a great job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for listening.
You're welcome.
Do you have anything to add or any questions or anything you want to hear from us, Amy?
I don't think so. I think you guys touched on a lot of stuff. So I don't think I really have anything to add or to ask.
Well, then we will shut this baby down, and then, if anybody has anything later, it should download to YouTube, so you can tell your teams to refer to this later. And I'll post it in Divas. Okay? Thanks, Kristen, for doing this with me and everybody who sat through and listened to us babble on.
Oh, thank you. It was fun.
Okay. We'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.
Thank you, girls. Bye.
Bye.